Eu nu de matës, nuk ta zbrit si poshtë, mos jeta të sipër dhe ato mos i vini të parvarur.
Dessa sala mora em mão. Kada se na treći divizion u dželbi pastroma pa to ono pa ne od, a ti jedno do të vi këtë drejt studit gjithë të gjithë. Ja, ma bëj një
Hajde da je Kako se dra on?
Ta unë që gra unë, pa si po? Prit, ha.
Na shkele, mbaje takuar si ty takuar. Ja është pa shumë si dhe është nga truke.
Petra? Edhe fokë?
Dashinja?
Marton, çantë mos në krahë,
Daniel e kisha.
Ja shpjegoj atyre.
Pa kam një gjupër të
Një gjupër ju.
ty e kam, ty. Në njëtë se i kom arru këtë kodet, kush është 430 që unë njësë? 410 ka qenë doktori, si maj mendo. A ti pa me ka të shë kodet. 410 pa ka qenë Josefina. Po arro, për me nemra.
Una, ju lutem, që është e vërtet të vikë në vendi i studit.
Do fete nga ne. Pa kur s'pet nga makina.
Sa vitë tjerë do t'i orientojmë ne për atë. Po nuk besoj.
Në rregull.
Dhe nga makina,
Kuptova.
Jo, ka da njeri, pa ne për të marrë.
po neve të sjena si puna jote. Shkuj, e qeta.
Po, kulori. Yes.
apo do zbatoni vendimin, shumë e thjeshtë.
Kur kemi konferencë dhe shtypit, mund të bëni
Po
pyetje.
nuk dini më në konferenca
Tu jemi për të pritur miqt.
Kemi vetëm një reagim të shkurtër.
Kemi konferencë shtypit mbrapa, do t'i përgjigjemi dhe pyetjeve. Kur mund ta bëni pyetjen dhe
Pyetjet në konferencë, kështu që një përgjigje shumë të shkurtër. A do sfidoni drejtsinë apo do zbatoni vendimin? Është shumë e thjeshtë dhe është një përgjigje shumë e shkurtër.
Do e mëroni zëvendësin e Ballukut. Qeveria s'mund të ndrojë pa një zëvendës kryeministra.
mbarojmë punë me miq, të bëni konferencën e shtypit dhe bëni pyetjet që keni për bërë.
Do na jepni fjalën pra në konferencë.
Nëse nuk vërtet si ai hapni vendin se do hidhem e merr gjithmonë fjalën. S'ka si problem.
Për ta se nuk e marr fjalën kurrë.
Jo, provoj një herë pa britma, do shohësh që do e marr gjithmonë.
Provova herën e fundit.
Jo. Provoj një herë pa britma, si gjithë të tjerët, ke parë që provoj, bëj çdo pyetje që do pa britma dhe pyetje. Kaq, po i bëre këtë, po i plotësoj të dy kushtet të thjeshta të edukatës së qytetarit, i ke gjithmonë përgjigje. Gjithmonë. Po hapni vendin se do hidhem.
Hello, morning.
We made a handshake there. Is anyone from Bosnia?
Hercegovina.
Herzegovina?
Ja.
Ju e keni ndryshe, e keni si ajo telenovela Vitrinat. 1000 episode. A e do, as e do. A të do, as të do.
Po si janë raporte?
Ja. O zot. Po të ketë përgjigje se vazhdon telenovela. Si do bësh ti, a e do, as e do. Ha?
Se gjatë telenovelën dhe nuk ktheni një përgjigje nëse do pranoni vendimin e SEO-Optimized për Balluku. Në shumë e thjeshtë.
Tash përgjigjem, atje në konferencë shtypje.
A do merrni fjalën në konferencë shtypje?
Nëse do plotësosh këto dy kritere.
Jo, kriteret i kanë plotësuar gjithmonë.
Jo. Ja, tani s'po e plotëson kriteret. Po thua hapni vendin se do hidhen prapë. Pse duhet biesh ti në sy gjithmonë me ulërim?
Të bie në sy nëse kryeministria do kishte bërë një reagim që të tjerë, se çfarë mendon për vendimin e SEO-Optimized, nuk do të pyesë fare për këtë çështje zot.
Konferencë shtypi. Merre fjalën. Fol me etik edhe je rregull. Do ta marrësh përgjigjen për çdo pyetje që do të bësh, gjithmonë. Vetëm se duhet me etik.
Nuk marr të drejtën e pyetjes asnjëherë.
Nëse do të përmbush do dy kritere, unë do thyej çdo rregull do ta jap gjithmonë drejtën e pyetjes. Por jo për miting, për pyetje dhe për të marrë përgjigje. Po e bëre këtë, kem rregull. Se kësaj pyetjes tjetër u si përgjigjem kësaj, e do se do. Se telenovela. Where from? Kush është këtu nga këta tuaj? Where? You are from Serbia? S'kisha pa në herë. E po, pas e ndryshu. Where is your prime minister? He's not coming. He'll come. Cilj medija puno. Cilj medija puno.
Даваня. На Приштину.
Uyan tam. idemo. You are the front runner. How can you be late? You...
No, we are not late. We are just on time. Huh?
Yeah. Let's have a picture here. Of course. For them. Very well. Well, distinguished fellow leaders from our neighborhood, Commissioner Kos, dear Marta, colleagues and friends coming from Brussels and the neighborly countries, welcome back to Tirana, the city where faith in Europe runs so high that even an old EU veteran like Eurobarometer can't help blushing like a teenager in love. I'm delighted to see this summit open with a clarity that I was very satisfied to feel just in the arrival of everyone and during the working dinner yesterday. The Western Balkans have chosen to move forward together with a growth plan as our shared roadmap. A roadmap not to Brussels, but to the freedoms and the opportunities of the European single market, where our citizens belong by history, geography, and destiny. Better late than ever, one could say, especially after all those occasions where and when the trains of regional cooperation departed and we stayed on the platform, wrestling with all disputes instead of simply buying a ticket to the future. But let me put it differently, paraphrasing Jean Monnet in a way that fits perfectly with the spirit of our growth plan. Europe is not built by waiting for it. Europe is built by doing. And we are here not to postpone today's work and wait for another time, but to build together what is ours to build today. Declarations and statements matter only when they touch real life. They matter only if they break the distance between policy, language, and daily life. People don't feel integration. They feel lower cost, easier travel, faster borders, better jobs, freedom of movement. So today, let me list some concrete facts. They look like 7 doors opening between the Western Balkans and Europe. Roaming charges between WB6 and EU will end in 2026. Our citizens will feel the next breakthrough directly in their pockets. We removed WB6 internal roaming, we reduced tariffs, now with the Commission finalizing the legal basis, roam like at home, between the Western Balkans and the EU, the end of different roaming system is coming. Negotiations begin early 2026. Albania will complete full acquis alignment by April 2026, and we are ready. This will be our next success after SEPA, which already cut transaction costs by 5 to 10 times and made money move as fast as a Balkan gossip. Roaming isn't about phone bills, it's about removing one more artificial border between our people and Europe. Digital identity, our quiet revolution. Soon, digital identity in the Western Balkans will mirror the European model. The commitment we renewed in Skopje, interoperable digital wallets, is not a tech project, it is our entry ticket into a borderless digital Europe. I must tell you with pride that Albania digital identity is ready, and starting from the new year will spread and will become part of our life. One identity, one access, one digital life crossing the region and increasingly across the EU. And when the EU will start with it 2027, we'll be there waiting for the EU. 3 border crossing points from bottlenecks to engines. We all know the Balkan border experience. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it sleeps, sometimes it meditates. But we must end those days. We have agreed with the EU on 16 priority border crossing improvements, including 11 EU Western Balkan crossings and 5 CEFTA crossings. Today, it's the day that with the contribution agreement between the European Commission and the World Bank signed to unlock the finance and the expertise. This means shorter queues, faster tracks, lower logistic costs, higher competitiveness. A track delayed is GDP delayed, a track moving fast is an economy moving fast. This is very, very, very simple. For the Wi-Fi for Western Balkans, Europe's digital infrastructure is in every corner. The Wi-Fi for Western Balkans program is no longer a promise. This is happening. 394 municipalities are selected, 61 in Albania, 114 in Bosnia and Herzegovina, 33 in Kosovo, 24 in Montenegro, 63 in North Macedonia, and 99 in Serbia. The first networks go live this year. From village squares to city centers, from schools to tourist hubs, our citizens will feel Europe every time their phone connects. This is what integration looks when it becomes visible in the daily life of a grandmother in Kukas, or of a student in Pristina, or of a family elsewhere in the region. 5, the reform agenda, 618 steps towards Europe and counting. This region has never attempted reforms in such a scale, never. 618 reform steps adopted under the growth plan, 414 million euro already disbursed, 251 more reforms in progress, 88% of all steps actively implemented. And these reforms touch public finance, rule of law, governance, energy, digital transformation, business climate. We are not closing the convergence gap with just speeches or meetings or what we celebrate, the chapters we open. We are closing it with reforms, tremendously boring on paper, very tiring in life, but absolutely transformative in reality. 6, infrastructure, building Europe's arteries in the Western Balkans, Corridor 8, the spine connecting Albania and North Macedonia, which is now critical even for the security in Europe and has become a NATO security corridor, is being upgraded. 344 million in railway investment, 112 million in new road infrastructure. This is not a line on a map, it's a plug-in cable into Europe's value chains. When Europe relocates supply chains, the Western Balkans must be not spectators, but a destination. And this is what we are doing together. And 7, the Western Balkans, Europe's new investment frontier. For decades, the region was treated as a problem to be managed at its best, or at its worst, as a war to be dealt with. Now investors see something very different, a market, a workforce, a geography, and a political alignment with the European Union. Recent investment events say it all. 7 investment declarations, 24 investment pitches, 10 memorandums of understanding between European and Western Balkan companies, 4 sustainable partnerships just in one conference about investments. Behind every number is a job, a salary, a family, a hope. When investment comes, of course, migration will decrease. When economies grow, borders, of course, will matter less. When opportunity grows at home, Europe becomes a destination of cooperation, not an escape route. The Western Balkans are going from risk to opportunity. For years, we were called unstable, unpredictable, too complicated. But the facts today say the opposite. We are proving, with reforms and investments, that the Western Balkans are not Europe's vulnerability, but Europe's opportunity. A young market, a skilled workforce, a strategic location, a region that wants to grow with Europe and not at Europe's expense. We are moving from the margins of the map into the center of our European story, also through the economy. Europe is not something we are waiting for. Europe is something we are building. Everything discussed today leads to a simple truth. The Western Balkans don't ask favors. And this is something one can feel and can hear in every statement of every one of the leaders around the tables. Nobody is looking for favors. Nobody is crying for some sweets. Everyone comes with the pride to offer values and to offer sweat and tears. Thanks God, no blood is needed. We are not begging to enter the European Union. We are proving that we are every day more ready. We are not talking the talk, we are delivering the results. And let me say it even more sharply. In the Western Balkans convergence, Europe becomes stronger. If the Western Balkans stagnate, Europe becomes weaker. There is no version of a stronger Europe with a weak Balkan region in the middle of it. So I want to conclude by telling to our people, we are not working toward Europe with empty hands and let alone like beggars. We are walking with achieved results, with reforms delivered, with investments secured, and with our homework done in every step. And we'll keep pushing until Western Balkans enter the European Union, not as guests, but as contributors to its security, to its economy, to its future, and by no doubt, to its safety. Because everyone knows, but Marta knows better. For your own safety, pick a Balkan guy. And this always works. And for Europe's safety, pick the Balkan guys. We can be Europe's bodyguards, and then Europe will feel much safer and much relaxed in her sleep. Thank you so much. And Marta, the floor is to you, and please confirm or deny what I said about the Balkan bodyguardship.
Thank you, dear Mr. Prime Minister, dear Edi, dear bodyguard. I agree, and you know, it's a pleasure and honor to be here shortly after this year's enlargement package, which has given or brought a new dynamic in the enlargement process. And this is something we are now building on, and yes, you're right. Today it is more than ever about the security, and Europe cannot be secure without Western Balkans. This is a mistake from the past. We have to do it better or correct these days. And I'm happy that this kind of meeting we have through the growth plan are opening more and more new doors. You have named 7. Thank you for this, and more will be open, and home of Europe is waiting for you. You already are a part of Europe. We just have to make it institutionally in the sense of you becoming a member of the EU. Today we are here for a stock taking, to see what is going well in the growth plan and where we need to do more. And we are now 2 years into the implementation of the growth plan for the Western Balkans, 2 years out of 4. So this is the half-time, and we need to have a half-time talk. We have quite a lot to celebrate, but at the same time, we need to be honest that 2 out of 6 have not yet started passing reforms. We haven't started with a growth plan implementation. The 2 best performers have passed about 50% of the agreed reforms, and here we see a clear connection between advancing in the accession process and delivering reforms. And in terms of funding released, we are still below 10% of the total amount, which is 1.6 billion euro. 400 million, as you have said, the idea of a 6 billion package have been allocated to the region. So we can do and must do better collectively. I would like to use today's discussion to plan for the second half of the growth plan implementation. So where can we do more? Where can we support you better? The European Commission really wants the growth plan to succeed. Recently, I have often talked about the need to enlarge the enlargement, to integrate all our neighbors as soon as possible into more and more EU policy areas, into parts of the single market, into our energy market, into pan-European value chains. And we want to make the European Union a lived reality for your citizens already today. You've been speaking about this, to bring prosperity, security and stability for the entire European continent in the times when we have adversaries from the outside who would like to see us fail. And in some areas, this is already taking shape. Albanians, Montenegrins and Macedonians already benefit from cheaper transaction costs because of SEPA. Yesterday we had a discussion. It is 62 million euro per year in North Macedonia, the benefit savings. Thank you. But our ambition is for all of you to advance in sync, so we do not want any of you to fall behind. And because ultimately all the Western Balkans belong into the European Union as equal members, and I'm stressing with full rights, as recognition for full alignment with EU laws and EU values. So let us focus today on how we can accelerate in the second half. And there is one particularly important deadline coming up. In June, the one-year grace period for unmet reforms from the second reporting round will expire. Almost 300 million euro that are earmarked for your countries are on the line. This is funding that should benefit your citizens. It should build tramlines and roads, schools and hospitals and much more. Let us also discuss how we can further reduce, you were talking also about these roaming rates. Paying extra for cross-border phone calls is something we do no longer do inside the EU, and why should you? For this to happen, we need to work on faster alignment with EU rules. And let us unblock projects to improve transport infrastructure, digital innovation, consumer protection and tourism. Yesterday evening at the dinner we have been talking about this a lot. And this will benefit your businesses and of course also your citizens. We face a lack of progress on regional economic integration. This results in lower economic growth. A full common regional market would boost your economies by 10%. Lack of progress, on the other hand, also risks access to the EU single market for those who block decisions that would benefit all. I know the reforms we have agreed to together are not always easy, but they allow to accelerate EU accession and prepare your economies for the single market, for the market of 450 million people. And they unlock opportunities. They give you access to member state treatment in some EU policies, and they show our member states that you are ready for more and deeper integration into the European Union. And let us talk how our instruments can also attract more foreign investment. The President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, told me she was very impressed by the 2 investment conferences she attended in the region. And let's continue working on that. Let's together bring more sustainable EU investments and trading partners to the region. And we know from the experiences from the past, the closer we will get to the real enlargement, the more investors are coming. It is crucial to make your economic convergence with EU countries a reality now. We know from the experience that the closer a candidate country gets to the EU accession, you will also get more tourists, more presence in the media of the European Union, and of course, I hope, more curiosity on the side of the citizens of the member states. Let us use the remaining 2 years to make the growth plan a resounding success and prepare the ground for your accession to the EU. Because the main goal of growth plan is helping you developing to be able to become an equal member of the European Union in the future. Thank you, dear Eddie, once again for hosting us here. It's always good to come here. And today we are at the growth plan. I'm coming back soon again, discovering some other parts of your country. Thank you for hosting us.
Well, as per usual protocol, thank you to the media. And now I'm starting with my work to invite to take the floor all the leaders presented here, starting from Borjana Christoph from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Hvala lijepa. Poštovane dame i gospodo, dopustite prije svega na samom početku da pozdravim našeg uvaženog domaćina, premijera Republike Albanije, gospodina Ramu, i da mu se prije svega zahvalim na jačanju naše regionalne suradnje i doprinosu za stabilnost u okviru ove regije i da čestitam naravno na postignutim rezultatima, odnosno napretku kad je u pitanju proces integracija. Želim na poseban način pozdraviti i sve nazočne kolege premijere, kao i povjerenicu za susjedstvo i proširenje, gospođu Martu Kos, i jednako tako i direktorata za susjedstvo i proširenje, gospodina Kopmana, sve nazočne međunarodne i financijske institucije i organizacije, kao i sve suradnike. Dopustite također da prije svega preko povjerenice iskažem zahvalnost svim zemljama članicama Europske unije na prihvaćanju reformske agende kad je u pitanju Bosna i Hercegovina. Ovo je jedan važan korak, ja bih rekla iskorak, priznanjima i naporima koje zapravo činimo zajedno. Naš današnji summit donosi nam neke nove teme, kao i evo osvrt po već dosadašnjim inicijativama i temama, i sve su one naravno jednako važne, s tim da ove nove inicijative i teme na još jedan dodatan način zapravo potvrđuju našu opredjeljenost i predanost progresu i jačanju regionalne suradnje, digitalne infrastrukture, povezanosti, kao i našu stvarnu zapravo želju da kreiramo jedno poticajno okruženje za razvoj gospodarstva, kako u zemljama regije naravno, tako i u Europskoj uniji. Što se tiče postojećih inicijativa, ja ću se osvrnuti na njihovu provedbu zapravo uz prepoznavanje i onih područja koja zapravo zahtijevaju jednu dodatnu institucionalnu, rekla bih i tehničku i političku pažnju s naše strane, evo kako bi se osigurala ta njihova potpuna i pravovremena realizacija. Vezano za nove inicijative, kad je u pitanju inicijativa roaming, telefonirajte kao kod kuće, ovim putem pozdravljam i iskazujem zahvalnost Europskoj uniji koja nam je zapravo ponudila novu mapu puta za Zapadni Balkan kada je u pitanju roaming između zemalja regije i Europske unije nakon što smo uspješno implementirali roaming unutar VB6. Što se tiče zapravo konkretnih stvari, pred nama sada stoji obveza usklađivanja domaćeg zakonodavstva sa EU roaming acquis-em. Uvjereni smo da ćemo u ovom procesu pristupiti odgovorno, predano i zapravo u duhu ispunjavanja svih naših europskih obveza. Smatram kako je nužno da ubrzamo dinamiku mape puta kako bi naravno telekom operateri u Bosni i Hercegovini i naravno zemljama regije mogli čim prije krenuti sa realizacijom smanjenja cijena roaminga. Kad je u pitanju inicijativa industrijski dijalog VB6, on je još u fazi, koliko sam shvatila, idejne razrade i tu nemamo puno toga na uvid što bi sve obuhvaćala ova inicijativa, ali saznanja koja imamo upućuju nas na to kako bi sa ovom inicijativom se otvorio prostor za veći izvoz, nova radna mjesta, stabilnost, gospodarski rast, što bi zapravo u konačnici i dovelo do jačanja konkurentnosti domaće industrije i naravno njene dublje uključivanje u europske lance vrijednosti. Kada je u pitanju inicijativa EU tvornice umjetne inteligencije, koja kao europski program ima za cilj uspostaviti mrežu visokotehnoloških centara i manjih AI antena širom Europske unije i partnerskih zemalja, želim istaknuti da od nadležnih resora vezano za ovu inicijativu do sada nismo primili nikakve zapravo primjedbe. To smatramo potvrdom njihovog otvorenog i afirmativnog stava prema ovom projektu i ovoj inicijativi ili ideji. koja zapravo predstavlja vrlo važnu razvojnu priliku za jačanje našeg položaja u europskom sustavu umjetne inteligencije. Inicijativa Novo perspektivno tržište, pozicioniranje za iskorištavanje prilika. Ova tema, vjerujem, da ciljanim politikama i zapravo jasnim prioritetima za zemlje regije može ostvariti jednu konkretnu korist kako za, naravno, stanovništvo, tako i za gospodarstvo svake od zemalja. Što se tiče dosadašnjih inicijativa i pregleda po njima, kratko ću se osvrnuti onako kako su one zapravo i postavljene prema dnevnom redu. Što se tiče jedinstvenog sustava plaćanja u eurima, naravno i sinoć smo kroz rasprave i danas i svi to znamo da su već 4 zemlje završile ovaj svoj dio posla. Ja bih željela reći da se Bosna i Hercegovina nalazi u završnoj fazi pripreme aplikacijskog paketa za SEPA članstvo. Predaplikacija će se podnijeti do kraja ove godine, a tijekom 2026. godine ćemo konačno ići i sa službenom aplikacijom za SEPA članstvo. Što se tiče inicijative Wi-Fi for West Balkan, to je jedna značajna inicijativa, te s njezinim punom implementacijom ćemo poboljšati pristup internetu za sve, potaknuti lokalni razvoj, olakšati pristup informacijama i digitalnim uslugama i doprinijeti smanjenju digitalnog jaza unutar regije. Naše nadležno ministarstvo nas je izvijestilo zapravo o održanom pozivu od strane Europske komisije vezano za sudjelovanje naših lokalnih sredina u ovoj inicijativi i trenutačno zapravo u ovoj fazi nemamo zapravo uvid u broj općina iz Bosne i Hercegovine koje su se prijavile, ali sam uvjerena da će i našoj zemlji ovaj projekat biti svakako od interesa i doprinijeti značajnu korist u pogledu digitalne integracije, naravno i pristupa internetu za lokalne zajednice. Zeleni koridori i sporazum o graničnim prijelazima, tu želim reći kako bi se omogućila puna provedba zelenih koridora u Bosni i Hercegovini, ključno je da granični prijelazi prema EU, evo u našem slučaju granični prijelazi sa Republikom Hrvatskom, postanu operativni u svom punom kapacitetu, što se zapravo prije svega ogleda u većem broju graničnih prijelaza prve kategorije, odnosno BIP prijelazi. U tom segmentu mogu vas informirati da smo upravo u fazi usuglašavanja novog ugovora o graničnim prijelazima sa Republikom Hrvatskom, koji bi trebao krenuti sa svojom primjenom do kraja ove godine. Zapravo sa novim ugovorom bit će definirano najmanje 5 graničnih prijelaza prve kategorije, BIP kategorije u odnosu na dosadašnja koja smo imali, to su bila 2, i što će sigurno i rezultirati bržim i lakšim protokom roba, nižim logističkim troškovima, naravno i u konačnici jačanjem konkurentnosti naših izvoznika na tržištu Europske unije. Ono što želim također napomenuti je zapravo i pitanje koje smo razgovarali kad smo bili na našem samitu u Makedoniji. Smatrala sam da je to pitanje zapravo završeno. Radi se o pitanju ograničenog boravka profesionalnih vozača i njihovog čekanja na granicama, gdje inzistiramo da uklonimo zapravo postojeće barijere između članica zemalja regije i Europske unije. Još uvijek tražimo da se prepozna zapravo realno vrijeme ulaska i izlaska, da se ne računa u danima. Nažalost, tu još nema nekakvog pomaka od tog našeg zadnjeg susreta, kada sam smatrala da smo i na samitu tada lidera u okviru večere i u okviru sutrašnjeg sastanka imali nekakvo obećanje, odnosno uvjerenje da je to pitanje završeno. Vezano za temu broj 4, radi se o turističkoj suradnji, napredak i regionalno brendiranje. Što se tiče Bosne i Hercegovine, ona doista ostaje posvećena jačanju regionalne suradnje u turizmu i razvoju jedinstvenog brenda VB6, podržavajući naravno liberalizaciju usluga kroz CEFTA i inicijativu poput smart pametnih gradova. Želimo da naša regija doista bude prepoznatljiva, održiva i konkurentna turistička destinacija. Vezano za instrument za reforme i rast, kad je u pitanju reformska agenda, već sam u uvodu naravno istaknula važnost i zahvalnost Europskoj komisiji na prihvaćanju ove reformske agende. Što se tiče nas,
Sada radimo na ostalim obvezama koje su vezane uz implementaciju reformske agende. Tu se radi na pripremama za potpisivanje i ratifikaciju 2 sporazuma o instrumentu i o zajmu koje bi se radilo kroz naše resorno ministarstvo. Također planiramo uskoro i imenovati koordinatora za rast i reforme, znači nakon što pristupimo ratifikaciji ova 2 prethodna sporazuma. I zapravo ovim koracima Bosna i Hercegovina bi se zapravo pridružila zemljama članicama, zemljama regije u punoj provedbi reformske agende, pokazujući jasnu predanost reformama i suradnji sa Europskom unijom. Kada je riječ o zajedničkom regionalnom tržištu CRM2, dosta se aktivno prati daljnji razvoj uz pomoć RCC-a, naravno CEFTA i drugih međunarodnih organizacija. Međutim, želim također istaknuti da mi u Bosni i Hercegovini još uvijek imamo obvezu usvojiti naravno i ratificirati sporazum o kretanju sa osobnim iskaznicama, gdje osobno i kao predsjedateljica jako puno radim na političkoj razini kad je u pitanju usuglašavanje oko ovog dijela sporazuma i na uspostavi zapravo općeg sustava priznavanja profesionalnih kvalifikacija te usvajanju odluke o radnim dozvolama. Na ove teme su zapravo, moram reći, isključivo razlog političkog zastoja i tu čekamo da se nekako kroz zajedničku suradnju sa institucijama i ovi problemi u dogledno vrijeme riješe. Evo, nakon svega želim reći da se kratko i osvrnem na aktualnu situaciju kada je u pitanju naš EU put u kontekstu preostalih obveza koje imamo, a to je uspostava Ureda glavnog pregovarača, usvajanje 2 zakona, VSTV, Zakon o sudu Bosne i Hercegovine. Kada je u pitanju imenovanje glavnog pregovarača sa EU, tu smo kao institucija Vijeća ministara pripremili odluku, bila je na uredu i došlo je zapravo do političkog zastoja jer su politički predstavnici iz bošnjačkog naroda na neki način opstruirali donošenje takve jedne odluke iz razloga što su željeli ovaj proces prebaciti sa institucije izvršne vlasti, odnosno Vijeća ministara, na jedan dom parlamentarne skupštine, konkretno zastupnički dom. Zapravo želim reći da Ustav jasno propisuje da se parlamentarna skupština sastoji od 2 doma, Doma naroda i zastupničkog, i da zapravo nema niti temeljem Ustava, niti bilo kojeg drugog zakona, da zakonodavna vlast može donositi odluke o uspostavi ureda, odnosno imenovati glavnog pregovarača. Također je sasvim jasno da se odluke zapravo jednog doma ni na kakav način ne obvezuju instituciju Vijeća ministara kao izvršnu vlasti i želim na koncu reći, što sam kazala naravno svima nama i kroz institucije i kroz ovaj proces, da kao predsjedateljica Vijeća ministara nastavim u skladu sa člankom 22 Zakona o Vijeću ministara ovaj proces uspostave zajedno sa usvajanjem i pripremom ova 2 prijedloga zakona. A kad su u pitanju ova 2 zakona, onda želim reći da nam je upravo Zakon o VSTV-u, novi tekst koji smo ponudili ispred resornog Ministarstva pravde, već na EU konzultacijama i nadam se da ćemo jednako uz ovaj zakon doći i do Zakona o sudu Bosne i Hercegovine kako bismo ujedno se mogli na istoj sjednici Vijeća ministara izjasniti i uputiti ova 2 zakona prema parlamentarnoj skupštini, a usvojiti i odluku o uspostavi glavnog pregovarača, odnosno ureda. Dopustite mi također na samom kraju da istaknem kako ću dalje neumorno osobno raditi, naravno sa jasnim ciljem što potpunijeg ispunjavanja naših preuzetih obveza, da unutarnja pitanja koja nas doista opterećuju ne bi smjela biti pitanja koja bi na neki način opstruirala napredak, ali da stvaramo zapravo sve pretpostavke, što je cilj zapravo svih, jer našem europskom putu unutar Bosne i Hercegovine kroz politički, kroz institucionalni i svaku vrstu dijaloga alternative europskom putu nema, tako da ćemo na tome inzistirati i smatramo da sa ovim obvezama koje su u ovom trenutku pred nama i ako ih održimo, očekujemo da bi već Europsko vijeće u 12. mjesecu moglo napraviti jedan nužno potreban iskorak i odrediti datum održavanja prve međuvladine konferencije Bosne i Hercegovine sa Europskom unijom, što bi bio jedan ogroman iskorak kako za nas u Bosni i Hercegovini, tako nadam se za sve, misleći na regiju, ali i institucije Europske unije. Evo, želim naglasiti još jednom našu privrženost daljnjem jačanju svakako i regionalne suradnje i međunarodne suradnje, tako da ćemo nastaviti aktivno sudjelovati u svim ovim projektima uz naravno očuvanje procesa integracije u Europsku uniju kao našeg kako primarnog, tako i zajedničkog cilja. Svima vama hvala.
Thank you, dear Borjana, and let me pass the floor to Albin. Prime Minister Kurti has the floor.
Dear Prime Minister Rama, dear Commissioner Kos, dear colleagues from the region and representatives of regional organizations, I want to begin by congratulating Albania on the advancement towards the European Union with the opening of the last cluster, marking the opening of all 33 chapters. This is an important milestone. Since our last meeting in North Macedonia in July this year, the Berlin Process Summit in London took place, where we endorsed new deliverables and adopted a revised green agenda for the Western Balkans. Last month, the World Justice Project published its Rule of Law Index, which ranked my country, Kosovo, third among 15 countries in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and second among the 6 Western Balkans for improvement in rule of law. We rank safest country in the region with the lowest criminality and great progress in fighting corruption. We recorded the strongest economic growth, and after our meeting in July in North Macedonia, both the World Bank and IMF removed the Republic of Kosovo from their fragile and conflict-affected lists. This internationally verified and evidence-based progress stands, I must say, in stark contrast with the EU's policy of restrictive measures and the lack of progress in granting Kosovo its well-deserved candidate status. EU measures taken against our democratic republic in the Western Balkans are a disservice to full alignment with the EU's CFSP. This is the last time I will address the EU restrictive measures. They must be removed fully and completely, just as former EU HR VP José Borrell requested last year. Also, no country in our region has been more prepared at the moment of seeking candidate status than Kosovo is today. To speak of urgency of enlargement on one hand, while letting Kosovo's application gather dust for 3 years on an EU shelf is, at the very least, a paradox. I believe it's important to speak plainly as we are gathered to take stock of the growth plan progress. We were the first to deliver on the reform agenda, and somehow we are now behind in implementing it. And I have welcomed the critique. We should be in front of these reforms, but we are behind not by choice, but by circumstances. The delays in forming the new government in my country after the February elections this year caused setbacks. Yet it was an exercise of democracy where members of parliament expressed their free will, where procedures were respected and disputes resolved in court. We're now heading toward the third election in 1 year, which, as the previous 2 have shown, will be free, fair, and democratic, competitive for sure, demonstrating the resilience of our democracy and the strength of our institutions. I'm confident that this election will result in a new government that will move quickly in implementing the reform agenda of the growth plan. We welcome the new initiatives. We also understand that our individual advancement toward joining the EU single market is closely tied to our collective advancement in regional mobility and trade. Or, as the Commission would say, Pillar 1 is linked with the Pillar 2 of the growth plan. We see no obstacles on the roaming roadmap. At the last summit in Skopje, we identified 3 sectors for nearshoring as part of the Single Market Highway Initiative on ICT, defense, and agriculture. The AI economic transformation has begun, and we must ensure it is inclusive, ethical, and democratic. We lead in digitalization, have had some time now high bandwidth penetration. We also have the lowest price of electricity in the region. These elements, connectivity, affordability, and digital readiness, form the infrastructure of the future, making us a strong potential hub for EU AI factories. For our next term, we plan to mobilize at least 1 billion euros per year in capital investments for strategic projects. We have an increasingly robust economic climate. We rank 26 globally and first in the Western Balkans according to Handley and Partners Global Investment Risk and Resilience Index. Inspired by the positive reception of the investment conferences in Tirana and in Podgorica, we look forward to the opportunity to bring a forum to Pristina. Lastly, advancing economic integration requires infrastructure at its core. An update of the trans-European network is essential to ensure that regional corridors operate with maximum efficiency. Kosovo's position is uniquely significant. We have the potential to serve as the fastest route within the region and from the region to the European Union. In this context, the Pristina-Durrës railway deserves particular attention as a connection between corridors 8 and 10 of the 10T European networks would serve connectivity and the European transport architecture. On the progress of growth plan and our joint commitments regarding green lanes, we welcome the inclusion of the 2 busiest customs points, Hanieles-Blot, as part of the Green Lanes Initiative, and Vermiț-Morin with Albania as part of the Intra-CEFTA initiative. Modernization of these 2 border crossings will further improve trade. On SEPA, we have submitted all necessary laws as technical criteria for our application a year ago, but they remain under review in our Constitutional Court. Kosovo meets all conditions to join SEPA, and we would welcome the EU's review so we can proceed swiftly once the court completes its process. On the Wi-Fi initiative, almost all municipalities, 33 out of 38, have been selected for the Wi-Fi for Western Balkans initiative. Installations are expected to begin in December, while the setup of all hotspots is planned to be completed by February. On the digital wallet, we have launched the first pilot for our national electronic identification system, Kosovo e-wallet. Modeled after the EU's digital identity wallet, it offers electronic authentication, signatures, seals, and a digital wallet. And on the agreement on conformity assessment acceptance, products accredited and marked in accordance with EU regulation should be accepted within the Western Balkan 6. The fishes of Pillar 1 offer membership and collaboration with EU agencies and other bodies related to tourism, medical alliance, single market highway, ACAA, and consumer protection. Equal access and symmetrical partnership with these mechanisms are essential for all Western Balkan 6 members to yield the benefits of common regional market and the EU single market. In this regard, we face structural obstacles in joining these agencies and bodies, an important one being the Common Transit Convention. We applied for membership in CTC in 2015, a decade ago. More than 10 years now of waiting without a decision for our application reflects a slow pace of decision-making. On Pillar 2, CRM, we have signed 5 mobility agreements, yet after 3 years they remain unimplemented. Since blockades emerged on the implementation of the Agreement on Higher Education Institutions, I tasked my Sherpa to actively pursue a solution. It is regrettable that our efforts and willingness have not been matched by the other party. The status quo in this matter cannot stand. This agreement, together with the agreement on access to study and the decision on work permits and SEFTA decision on recognition of professional qualification, is crucial for the mobility of students and workers, without which we cannot achieve a common regional market. I welcome the Commission's recent engagement on this matter and encourage you to work with Sherpas in resolving outstanding issues regarding the implementation of the common regional market deliverables. In our first direct chairing of CEFTA, we are demonstrating leadership and delivering benefits for all CEFTA countries. We elected a CEFTA director after a 2-year deadlock that put a 7 million euro EU grant at risk. We have adopted decisions to deepen trade, and we expect major decisions such as recognition of trust services, on recognition of professional qualification and the risk management strategy to be approved this December in Pristina during the CEFTA's week. Lastly, why I always enjoy being in Tirana, I will welcome if the next summit takes place in Pristina. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Albin. And now the front runner has the floor. Miki, please, on behalf of Montenegro, of course.
Prime Minister Rama, dear Eddie, Commissioner Kos, dear Marta, Excellencies, representatives of the EU, dear colleagues, it is a privilege to address you today as we discuss the instruments, priorities, and reforms that will determine the pace and quality of our region's European integration. The Western Balkans no longer have the luxury of gradualism. The global environment demands faster convergence, deeper integration, and a stronger capacity to deliver reforms that bring concrete benefits to our citizens and businesses. Montenegro fully acknowledges the strong partnership with the EU and the member states and remains firmly committed to implementing the growth plan and our reform agenda as key pathways toward convergence, competitiveness, and EU membership. Montenegro approaches these initiatives with determination and a clear focus on delivering measurable results. The reform agenda is the central political commitment of the government of Montenegro and the whole region. Our roadmap to create a stronger, more competitive, and more resilient economy aligned with the standards and freedoms of the EU single market. Through it, we are implementing structural reforms that improve rule of law, governance, strengthen institutions, enhance the business climate, and modernize public administration. These reforms are not undertaken because they are required, but because they are the only way to secure long-term stability and prosperity. They represent the essence of our credibility in the growth plan and in the wider process of the EU accession. Montenegro's progress on the reform agenda stands today as one of the strongest indicators of our institutional maturity and genuine European commitment. Our exceptional level of public support to EU accession has been translated into concrete results. Montenegro was among the first in the region to adopt its reform agenda within the European Commission's deadline, refining and defining 32 reforms and 130 concrete steps that now provide a unified, results-oriented framework for our EU path. The Reform and Growth Facility has further accelerated this momentum. Montenegro has been allocated 383.5 million in support, 110 million in grants, and 273.5 million in highly favorable loans, including 178.5 million in direct budget assistance. Having already completed 2 full reporting cycles, 12 reform steps have been assessed and achieved a combined potential value exceeding 45 million euros, demonstrating that reforms are not abstract obligations, but direct investments in Montenegro's economic convergence with the European Union. When we look at performed reporting exercises under reform and growth facility, the most important lesson we have learned is that coordination and synergy are at the very heart of the project and the process. We believe that the lesson extends beyond Montenegro and reflects the reality of the entire Western Balkans region, where joint efforts and shared commitment remain essential for achieving meaningful progress. Beside our joint commitment to accelerate the implementation of the Growth Plan instrument, allow me to highlight several additional areas where the rapid implementation of reforms directly translates into benefits for citizens in the region. The establishment of EU Western Balkans Roam Like at Home regime by 2026 is one of the most visible and meaningful steps. Montenegro is fully committed to regulatory harmonization and technical readiness to ensure its timely implementation. Roaming cuts will not only facilitate communication, they will strengthen mobility, cross-border business, and digital integration. For us, this measure is symbolic and something much, much larger. It demonstrates that integration into the EU single market is no longer a distant aspiration, but a practical reality that our citizens can feel in their everyday lives. Equally strategic is the establishment of the Regional AI Factories Initiative. Artificial intelligence is redefining the competitive landscape of modern economies, and Montenegro intends to be an active contributor, not a passive observer. By investing in the digital infrastructure, supporting innovation ecosystems, and aligning with European ethical and regulatory frameworks, we aim to position our economy within the emerging technological architecture of Europe. The reform agenda provides the institutional discipline necessary to ensure that development of AI capacities go hand in hand with strong governance, transparent regulation, and creation of high-value opportunities for our private sector and our young professionals. The same logic guides our approach to investments. Montenegro has entered a new phase of economic development marked by the need for diversification and long-term sustainability. For years, our economic performance has depended heavily on a narrow set of factors. Today, also through the reform agenda, we are reshaping the investment environment to attract sustainable, high-quality capital into energy, transportation, digital infrastructure, and innovative industries. Transparent regulation, improved business climate, predictable policies are at the heart of our investment strategy, and the growth plan provides the necessary framework to accelerate this transformation. Montenegro is proud to be among the Western Balkan countries that have already joined the SEPA. This marks a transformative step for our citizens and businesses, ensuring faster, cheaper, and more secure cross-border payments with the European Union. In addition, recognizing the importance of the free movement of goods, Montenegro has made significant progress in implementing the Green Lanes roadmap, aiming to advance custom digitalization, reduce waiting times at priority border crossings, and improve transport coordination. These and other initiatives that lead us toward faster and efficient integration into the EU single market create conditions for Montenegro to become a credible and attractive destination for the investors. Dear colleagues, as Montenegro takes over the presidency of the Berlin process next year in 2026, we are fully committed to advancing the common regional market as integral part of the growth plan for the Western Balkans and to delivering tangible benefits to all of our citizens. We will lead with the spirit of inclusiveness and ambition, working with all partners to ensure that the Berlin process continues to deliver results, deepen connectivity, and bring our region ever closer to the European Union. In this regard, priority for the region is the full implementation of the mobility agreement based on the ID cards and the agreement on access to higher education and admission to study. While these agreements have been adopted, progress on the ground has been uneven, and delays are limiting the opportunities for citizens to travel, work, and study freely across the region. Full implementation of these agreements will contribute to strengthening regional collaboration, enhance economic and educational opportunities, and accelerate convergence with the European Union, making integration a lived reality for citizens every day. Our citizens expect results, not only words, and through these processes, strengthened by regional cooperation and aligned with strategic priorities of the EU, we intend to deliver those results. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Miki, and now I want to pass the floor to Christian, Prime Minister Mickoski, on behalf of North Macedonia.
Respected Commissioner Madam Kos, distinguished leaders, EU representatives, Your Excellencies, let me begin by congratulating Prime Minister Rama for the hospitality and the leadership in organizing this important summit. Today, we speak not only about a growth plan, but about trust, results, and shared values European future. For my country, the growth plan is more than initiative. It is a story of turning commitment into the change. We were the first country in the region that made reality the reform and growth facility, and the first to receive pre-financing under the plan. This was a result of dedicated effort and strong belief in European values. Our reform agenda, approved by the European Commission, focuses on what truly matters: good governance, clean energy, education, business development, and the rule of law. These are not abstract targets. They are the foundations of a modern European state, the daily realities we want for our citizens. We are already implementing change. This year we have submitted 2 requests for release of funds, supporting government priority reforms, especially in digital services, strengthening the business climate, and improving energy efficiency. So far, around 24 million euros has been disbursed, combining loans and investment grants. We are moving ahead with further reform steps across sectors: public finance management, digital transformation, business development, and justice reforms. Completing these steps will unlock over 134 million euros in additional EU support. But these are not just numbers. They are stories of change. Our accession to the single European payment area is a tangible outcome of the growth plan. It places my country among the first Western Balkan partners integrated into this European system. 9 out of 12 domestic banks successfully launched single European payment area transfers on 7th of October 2025, with the remaining 3 to follow by the end of first quarter of 2026. We are also building a strong digital future through the Wi-Fi for the Western Balkans. 63 municipalities will soon offer free public internet in 68 locations. The Skopje Digital Summit reaffirmed our shared commitment to interoperability, secure digital identity, and closer alignment with EU digital standards. Our digital innovation hubs support startups and small and medium-sized enterprises to adopt new technologies. With the assistance of EU through the Horizon program, we are building a national artificial intelligence factory antenna that links our country with the European artificial intelligence ecosystem and its supercomputing capabilities. It is a strategic investment in large language model and its use in the public and private sector that strengthens both our digital sovereignty and our partnership with the European Union. This is how a small country can lead through innovation rather than simply follow. Connectivity remains a top priority. We are modernizing 3 border crossing points, Devebair, Blace and Bogorodica, under the Green Lane initiative, bringing Europe tangibly closer to our citizens. And our green transition from energy-efficient student dormitories to new transport and rail infrastructure investment links shows that growth and sustainability can go hand in hand. Altogether, projects worth around 1.1 billion euros are in the growth plan pipeline, with over €500 million in EU grants. Regional cooperation is also deepening through the common regional market and the Berlin process. We are creating a space that mirrors the European single market. We have ratified agreements on recognition of professional qualifications and access to studies, opening opportunities for our youth to move, learn, and contribute freely across the region. These are not small steps. They are proof that when we integrate our markets, connect our roads, and harmonize our rules, we are already practicing EU and its values. Your Excellencies, our message today is simply but firm. My country is delivering. Again, I will repeat, we are delivering. We do not reform because it is expected of us. We reform because we believe in the European idea. We are building Europe at home with our policies, our actions, and our values for almost 25 years since we started this journey. Now, we look to our partners for the same spirit, a fair, merit-based, again, merit-based, not bilateral approach that rewards results and recognizes commitment. Together, let us turn this growth plan into progress, delivering change. Let it stand as a proof that the European idea continues to inspire, to unite, and to deliver. Not tomorrow, but today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Christian. And now I pass the floor to Prime Minister of Serbia, welcoming him for the first time in Tirana and wishing to see you again for a bilateral visit or to enjoy our seaside, because in my last information you don't have a sea yet.
No, we used to have some times ago, some centuries ago. Well, dear Eddie, thank you very much for the invitation. This is my third time to be in Albania, in Tirana, actually passing on my lecturing in the town, in the beautiful town in the past, in the south of Albania. So I find it really very nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, it's my pleasure to have the opportunity to address you at this important gathering. First of all, I would like to once again confirm full and firm commitment of the Republic of Serbia to advancing regional cooperation in the Western Balkans. We believe that a stable, interconnected, and economically integrated region is the best path toward the shared goal, full membership of the European Union. I would like also to emphasize that regional cooperation is not only a strategic choice, but also our everyday necessity. Through regional cooperation, we build more stable economies, more attractive markets, and better living conditions for all our citizens. The Republic of Serbia believes and consistently emphasizes that the focus of regional cooperation should be on issues where harmonized and similar positions exist, such as the economy, transport, interconnection of chambers of commerce, youth mobility, and the creation of opportunities for their education and employment, as it was said before. We can observe that these very areas lie at the core of the common regional market concept, which we consider the key driver of development through our region. For this reason, we believe that our primary focus should remain on connecting our economies with the aim of making progress toward the single market. Honorable colleagues, let me be very direct and concrete about some issues. We already met a couple of weeks ago in the similar format in London, and I strongly believe that we must have some outcomes. One of them must be solving the issue of the truck drivers. As we all know, 3 years ago, our transport and business communities addressed this problem to the European Commission, and there is no progress. Now, with the implementing of ETIAS, we have serious problem which will escalate and cause serious damage to all our economies. We must find a solution how to treat truck drivers in the Schengen area, otherwise all the things that we are speaking right now and are just small without real impact to the everyday life. For solving this issue, we do not need big moves, big statements or any longer process. We just need political will from the European Commission. That can be one way to demonstrate goodwill and that Europe really cares, but also to show that when we are speaking in united voice, we can do lots of things. Just to remember, during the London summit, Serbia launched an initiative to get together with the countries of the Western Balkans, plus the United Kingdom, to apply again, to remember the European Commission on this initiative. The second tangible thing that we can deliver is reducing or abolishing roaming charges for our citizens and as it concerns a practical everyday matter. Following the abolition of roaming charges within the Western Balkans in July 21, through the conclusion of the 2019 roaming agreement, we expect that the abolition of roaming charges between the Western Balkans and the European Union will begin without delay. We welcome the steps taken in this direction, but we expect the process to be further accelerated. We believe that the complete abolition of roaming charges, as in the case of Ukraine and Moldova, would be the best possible message from the EU to the citizens of our region. And as we discussed last night, I believe in a few next months, maybe we can do something very practical and operational on this level. Dear participants, our goals are clear: better connected economies, more jobs, improved and modernized production capacities, a stronger service sector, greater business mobility and intensified economic activity, accompanied by more research, innovation and development. This is the kind of environment in which everyone, and especially young people, wants to stay and in which citizens feel tangible benefits. A higher standard of living, greater mobility, easier access to employment or academic opportunities, as well as simple and faster procedures. To achieve these goals, it is of paramount importance to continue our mutual cooperation both within the region and within the European Union and its member states, given that all of us in the region aspire to full EU membership. The Republic of Serbia will continue to actively contribute to the implementation of the action plan for the common regional market, which will further expand opportunities for strengthening economic cooperation through the region. Deeper economic integration by establishing the conditions for the free movement of people, goods, capital and services, the four freedoms that constitute the foundation of the European Union, represents the strongest impulse for the growth and development in our region. I would like to emphasize that the Republic of Serbia fully supports the implementation of regional agreements on freedom of movement with the identity cards in the Western Balkans, as well as the agreement on the recognition of the academic and professional qualifications and on access to studies and higher education. We believe that providing such opportunities directly contributes to the better and easier connectivity within our region, as well as to creating an environment conducive to attracting domestic and foreign investments and opening new jobs. Esteemed participants, we are looking diligently on fulfilling all the reforms required in the process of European integration, as well as those envisaged under the growth plan for the Western Balkans, placing particular emphasis on the components that lead to a faster economic integration of our country into the European Union single market. Our objective is unequivocal: the economic integration of the Republic of Serbia into the Union single market. In this context, I am pleased to note that we have joined the SEPA and now working on ensuring operational readiness for implementation and on the final accession of Serbian finance institutions to the SEPA payment schemes. We have also initiated negotiations on the conclusion of the agreement on conformity assessment and acceptance of industrial products. We all agree that the growth plan for the Western Balkans will provide significant opportunities to make further use of closer cooperation within the region itself as well as with the European Union. This brings us closer to a vast market of 450 million consumers with access to a larger number of suppliers of goods and services, lower production costs and simplified trading procedures. We consider the growth plan to be based on a long-term vision of shared prosperity and strengthened mutual trust, both within the region and between the region and the European Union, and Serbia fully supports this strategic orientation. I would like to remind you that the decision to establish so-called green corridors in our region has proven to be highly effective. During the COVID-19 pandemic, this mechanism enabled to interrupted transport of medical equipment and food across the region without delays at border crossings. Furthermore, I would like to highlight that on July 4th, 2025, the Republic of Serbia and the Republic of North Macedonia signed the protocol on the manner of carrying out border checks and the Preševo and Tabanovce border crossing, which provides for a single border control, as Prime Minister Mickoski said. This system prevents congestion at the border and allows the border crossing procedure to run much more quickly. It is also of great importance to extend the concept of green corridors to include the Western Balkans and neighboring EU member states. Finally, touristics of Serbia were not different than the others, and we are fully ready to be in this process and to cooperate with the originals of the Serbian touristic profiling. Ladies and gentlemen, through its economic development, reforms and active participation in regional initiatives, Serbia demonstrates its belief in the vision of connected, stable and prosperous West Balkans. We are ready to cooperate, to build trust and to accelerate our European path through concrete projects in infrastructure, trade, energy, transport and digitalization. Stronger regional connectivity, supported by the European Union, is the best way for the region to be recognized as a reliable partner and to become a full part of the European family more quickly. Thank you very much for your attention.
Very well. Now that all the statements were made, we may have just a second round of free speech. And for the free speech, I pass the floor to Marta to start the dance.
You know that I like free speech. Thank you so much, dear Edi, dear all. As you have said, dear Mr. Prime Minister Mickoski, growth plan is turning commitments into change. And this is what this plan is about. We are now in the process of getting or preparing for the new MFF from 28, a new European budget from 28 on, meaning that we have to use those 6 billion. If we will not use it, the rest could go back to the budget, which even the best financial guy in my team, dear Hertian, will not be able to manage. So good that you are delivering, but I wish a faster implementation. We have 5 of 6 reform agendas. I hope, dear Borjana, that in the next week, European Commission or the procedure in Brussels will be finished. Then we desperately need the quick ratification, and then, of course, upon the delivering, we will be able to also provide you with the money. As I have said before, in 82, only 414 million euro have been released. Before I was saying the numbers for all together, it's 38. If I go country by country, it is percentage of steps achieved. Albania 51, Montenegro 48, Serbia 33, North Macedonia 29, Kosovo 25. But if I take into the considerations the ongoing projects and what is the possibility, we can get much higher. Meaning, if you really push, and I'm considering the third reporting period, Montenegro, if you do it well, I'm looking at you, it's possible to come up to 98% of steps fulfilled. For Albania, 92, for North Macedonia, 80, Kosovo 73, and Serbia 17. So only 15% of the steps are not on track. We have close to 50% of the steps which are ongoing. So please make out of these ongoing projects as much as possible finished project. And we will have to see what we will do if you will not be able to use this designated money. The possibility is that we use this money for some other countries which are delivering better in the scope of the Western Balkans. If there will be no MFF, I will be more relaxed. But because of this restriction that we have to use the money until the end of 27, and being rational and not giving the money back to the general budget, but use it really for you, we will have to do some restructuring for the countries which will deliver better. And very important is also, delivering on the key public infrastructure investments, including the Western Balkan, Eastern Mediterranean, European corridor, and so on. So it is money there. You all are happy about SEPA, me too. I'll be very happy when we will have roaming results, and this is very, very tangible then for the people that they will feel it. And also regarding digital innovation, we have now 7 digital innovation hubs, and we will go on. This is something which actually can work very good borderless. And congratulations to Serbia and to North Macedonia for AI factories, but we are moving, we want to move also on. And the industrial sector is important, but also the services. So the Western Balkans are some of Europe's most visited tourism destination. Just one example, one television show in Netherlands, in the country of my Director General, who is the mole, has really risen up the number of tourists present here in Albania. I don't know, but how much, dear Eddie? From Netherlands, yeah. How much? A lot.
300% or 400%, or I don't know. In the beginning, they were coming just to make assessments about why we should not enter European Union. Now they come to enjoy, so it's much more.
So this is also, thank you, and this is also a call to action for us in the European Union. How we can make you more known, or how to get rid of prejudices against you in the member states. So I'm really looking forward. And we therefore welcome the entrance of the Balkan Green Network joining the large-scale partnership on tourism. Additionally, we are glad to see 5 of our Western Balkan partners are now observers in the European Commission's Tourism Advisory Committee. We encourage you to apply as well, dear Mr. Kurti. So I think that we already had one offer to meet next time with our growth plan in Pristina. I wish you to get the government soon after the elections, but I would also like to go on with the very good investment conferences. So I also am looking for the volunteer for the organization of the investment conference next year. So it is moving. we can give a new push, coming back to your words, your war, all committed. Once again, in your words, let's see the change happening also.
Well, thank you, Marta, and without going through the alphabet, I'm just inviting any one of you to take the floor for free speech. So Albin is the second most fervent free speaker after Marta, so the floor is yours, Albin.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Rama, dear Edi. One thing which perhaps is more important than economy and more important than education is the link between the two. We really need in our region to link education and economy in order to have a job in the market for every diploma at school. For so long, we have had young women and men studying something and then working something else. And dissatisfaction, lost dreams that young people have are key ingredient to decision to leave. So now we need young population to stay in our region, and here EU can help us a great deal. One of the ways to help us is investment conferences. So big brands, European corporations come to our region. Instead of young people coming to EU, EU corporations coming to the Western Balkans. On one hand, perception can be improved through tourism, through people-to-people encounters and exchanges, but also Brussels could do a great favor to Western Balkans and to itself by introducing Western Balkans as destination for investment. Electricity in our region, especially in my country, is much cheaper than in Europe. Renting premises is much cheaper than in Europe, in EU. Then in terms of fiscal policy and taxation system is very convenient. And at the same time, labor costs are much lower, but not for very long, I must say. So there's another 5 to 10 years that labor costs will be low, Kosovo and in the region. And we need more nearshoring, more friendly shoring of European corporations. And I think our education system will also improve when big European corporations come because they won't want skilled workers. We already have this phenomena in my country where some people from diaspora are coming back because it's not worth of going to Germany and spend half of your salary on paying rent. 90% of population of Kosovo, they reside, they dwell in their property. The structure of the economy is the one of small owners, which is very convenient for family business. I think that people are noticing now that perhaps it's better to stay home and work for someone abroad than go abroad and send money back home. So all these social dynamics that are taking place, Brussels could register and present to European corporations so they visit our region and open their franchises by doing business process outsourcing. And next stage would certainly be our own ecosystems at the same time, especially when it comes to ICT is very convenient. Fintech, marketing, software engineers and developers, now with AI, I think that our populations are multilingual and generally young, very convenient for productive and talented and energetic labor force. So in addition to visiting professors and academic exchanges, in addition to tourism, where cultural heritage is something very important, because I don't think that, like in previous century, people just want to go to the coast. They want to visit different sites, to get to know people. They are not very much keen into typical touristic resorts. I would add this investments of European corporations in the Balkans, because by including us as an investment destination, EU as our destiny gets firmly confirmed.
Yes, sure, please.
Hvala lijepa. Evo, dozvolite da nakon ovog našeg prvog uvodnog obraćanja također iskažem prije svega svoje zadovoljstvo ovakvim jednim načinom i pristupom rada kroz ovaj naš summit. Mislim da je bio otvoren, iskren dijalog i to je zapravo ono što će najviše, da kažem, doprinijeti učinku onoga čemu svi težimo, a taj zajednički cilj implementacija potpuna plana rasta, odnosno provođenje reformi, a u konačnici što nas dovodi i do europskih integracija. Kad ste kazali malo prije da naravno očekujete, svi smo ovdje iznijeli pojedinačne stavove šta je koja zemlja uradila, šta se od nas očekuje. Kazali ste da očekujete očajnički od Bosne i Hercegovine da što prije pristupi ratifikaciji ova dva sporazuma. Ja također želim reći da očajnički u ovom trenutku čekamo potvrdu službenu Europske komisije, a već paralelno radimo na pripremama ova dva sporazuma, na uspostavi, odnosno imenovanju koordinatora za reforme i rast i da radimo zapravo konkretnu analizu što smo već do sada po određenim reformama uradili. Svi smo svjesni, ja također želim naglasiti da doista te reforme koje radimo su prije svega interes svih nas, svake zemlje pojedinačno. One su doprinos, one nisu nešto što je samo nekakav uvjet, što je nekakva recka u odrađenom poslu, nego doista da, evo, poštujući ustavnu strukturu i nadležnost koju mi u Bosni i Hercegovini imamo takvu, uspostavljenu, nadam se da će sukladno toj realizaciji povlačiti se određena sredstva, ali prije svega da će biti benefit kako za zemlju, odnosno Bosnu i Hercegovinu, njeno gospodarstvo, njeno stanovništvo, benefite koje treba imati u ovom stvaranju ambijenta poslovnog povoljnijeg u Bosni i Hercegovini, tako i za zemlje regije. Evo, želim reći da također pozdravljam inicijative koje idu u pravcu od strane Europske komisije u smislu održavanja ovih investicijskih konferencija, pa smatram da bi možda, to sam razgovarala i prilikom zadnje posjete sa predsjednicom Europske komisije, da bi jedna takva trebala biti na prostoru Bosne i Hercegovine. Učinit ćemo sve da se to dogodi u skorije vrijeme, tako da i ove zapravo benefite i sve ovo o čemu pričamo i što nas očekuje bude prezentirano poslovnom jednom ambijentu, poslovnim ljudima, jednom okruženju, kako bi se stvarno uvjerili sve što nam treba biti kao benefit kroz ovaj naredni period i kroz reforme koje nas očekuju. Evo, na poseban način, evo recimo samo jedna činjenica SEPA, koji su to nekakvi efekti i tako dalje. I evo, željela bi potaknuti sve nas nekako da evo pokušavamo što više implementirati i onih stvari koje možda u ovom trenutku su nam završene, a ovise od nekakvih operativnih odluka kako bi se vidjeli stvarni učinci nekako na terenu. Evo, želim reći da ću prenijeti ove poruke i prema svim institucijama i razinama vlasti u Bosni i Hercegovini i nastaviti dalje na ovim našim prioritetima i zajedničkim ciljevima. Hvala vam lijepa doista na poseban način za gostoprimstvo koje je poslalo jednu posebnu poruku i kroz onu sinoćnu nekakvu večeru da pokušavamo u okviru nas kao lidera regije raditi na otklanjanju onih nekih percepcija i tako dalje, bilo neki koji se vežu za pojedinačne zemlje, a bilo za sve zapravo zemlje regije. Evo, hvala još jednom na svemu.
Thank you, Borjana.
Thank you, Eddie. So first of all, dear Marta, I thought when you mentioned Montenegro at 98%, Albania 90-something%, that we'll be at 100%, right, Eddie? Like, we are a little disappointed. We are under... Yeah, so you know, we don't accept anything lower than 100%. Jokes aside.
Good if you say 100, not 150, you know.
as a true Montenegrin. So, jokes aside, we don't want to be antisocial, cramming geek student in the class who is trying to isolate itself from the region and trying to kind of trying to be arrogant and trying to have this aureole of front runner or whatever not. And Montenegro has to stay humble and forget about kicking above its weight. Whoever tries to kick above its weight is going to get kicked sooner or later. So I think all of us, the key is the base of European integration is regional collaboration, is regional integration. So geography is destiny, and we have to keep improving, keep trying, never give up. You know, there are zillions of challenges coming our way: domestic, political, financial, economic, social. God, every country has its own challenges, has its own different things, but we should never give up trying, and you know, never give up the hope that we can actually do it. We can become part of the unified Europe, and I'm 100% confident about that. There's absolutely nobody with more skin in the game than Montenegro for the whole region to join EU. This is, I think, very clear. Not only EU, but I said it before, NATO as well. I mean, this is not a format for that, but I would love to see all of the countries sitting here being part of NATO as well, but also EU. And I think it's very important that we have great histories. This region, you know, like I know whenever I go to any of the capitals, it's like how many Roman emperors were born in this and that country within this. You know, this is how usual museum custos or the guide gonna tell you about how great we are and how fantastic we are and how many battles were whatever, which is fantastic and great, and we should be proud of the great histories. But I think our friends in EU, especially the ones that really want us to see in EU, and there are many people who really want good to the region. They're a little jaded. They're a little tired from all of these stories, from all of these repetitions about the greatness. They want to see delivery. They want to see the actual results. And they want us to help ourselves. They want us to take bold political decisions. You know, I know it's difficult. I was not a politician just a couple of years back, and I know it's painful, it's difficult, it takes all kinds of risks. But I think it's a time. It's the right time to take the political risks, to march forward. Somebody said there's a window of opportunity of joining EU. We don't need windows of opportunity. We don't want windows of opportunity. We want doors of opportunity, open doors of EU welcoming us. And I think we deserve it. I think our friends in EU also understand that. Hopefully they understand that. And I really think it's about time we become part of EU. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miki. And Christian, you want to say something more?
Once again, thank you for inviting us, Eddie, here in Tirana. Thank you for the beautiful hospitality. We've enjoyed yesterday during the working dinner. One gentleman was missing, of course, front runners. But we are now complete today. I mean, we are aware about the status being a front runner. It was a few years ago when my country was a front runner. Unfortunately, now we are not. But sometimes, even if you are taking a very brave, sometimes stupid political decisions, again, it's not sufficient, and it's not something that is enough. And sometimes in your lives, you need to admit to yourself and to your people, because you are receiving credibility from your people, that is enough is enough. Sometimes, not always. sometimes you need to face with that challenge. However, let's go back to the delivery. I just forgot to inform you yesterday during the working dinner that we finally managed to unlock fast railway or railway project with our eastern neighbor. After the local elections, our DPM signed an agreement with his colleague from Bulgarian government. So finally, Corridor 8 is progressing. And this is something very, very good. We opened that issue during the last meeting with the representatives of World Bank for modernization of a section that is connecting Skopje with Kičevo. And from Kičevo, we will decide which section we will choose, because if we go downstream to Ohrid and from Ohrid, Struga and Kjafasan, that might be very difficult for all of us. Why? Due to the constraints imposed by UNESCO. And that region has been protected by UNESCO as a world natural and cultural heritage, and we are not able, unfortunately, to do nothing. So maybe directly from Kičevo we will connect railway to Lin, but we have to talk about this with you, and we have to define what will be the exact route that will be a part of this project. We are on disposal. After the local elections, we have more available time to work together, and I think that we should organize one bilateral meeting soon from now. Either we'll be again in Tirana or in Skopje, just to prescribe the documents and submit them to the EU office. However, we were not able to deliver more from the growth plan because of constraints imposed by our binding legislation. We were, I would say, into the electoral mode. And according to our legislation, when Parliament announced beginning of campaign, we are not able to do nothing. Everything is on a break. So practically late July, Parliament announced local elections, and when State Election Commission said that everything is over now, and it was the beginning of November, we were on a different mode, I would say. And so that's why we were not able to deliver. But now we are a little bit furious, and I think that until the end of this year, we will fulfill that gap, and we will deliver what we are missing. So next report will be more in favor of our deliverables. And I think that progress will be very, very much significant. Also, let me inform you that we are progressing with the Brits. We are developing Corridor 10. Again, I'm talking about railway. According to the gantogram of activities and timetable of activities, I've foreseen that somewhere at the beginning of November, end of October next year, we will start terrain scope of works. We are progressing with the gas southern interconnector, which is very important for the Central Europe, because this is that pipeline is a real competition of the Russian assets in the region. Hopefully, with Serbia, we will submit application for receiving funding for the northern interconnector that will connect my country with Serbia. And in that regard, I think that we will bring, because yesterday we talked what the region might offer to Europe. This is one of a lot of things. So that pipeline will change a little bit consumption portfolio of energy in Central Europe, and will bring additional option avoiding Russian assets in the region and the pipeline so-called South Stream. So I think that we are accelerating this. We are working together. This is in my optics, personal optics, and we've raised this issue in front of the World Bank representatives. They would be very keen to jump into the project. Today I received again from the representative of World Bank, again confirmation that our section is is, I would say, smaller. The section from the Serbian side is a little bit bigger, but I don't think that that might be a problem. Also, we discussed with Prime Minister Kurti for one section that will lead from our capital to the border with Kosovo. And there will be a valve, and that valve will be closed when Kosovo will decide to connect pipeline that will be developed later. Then we will open that valve, so they will be able to use gas as a energy supply. I know that they have a huge deposits of coal, but bearing in mind CBAN and some other green initiatives, I think that using gas for production of electricity and changing a little bit production portfolio might help to Kosovo export, because if CBAN will be applicable starting from the new year, or 1st of January 2026, then all exporters from Kosovo to the EU market must declare the origin of electricity. And I'm afraid that if they declare that the origin of electricity will be from coal, that might impose additional taxes. But however, we are on disposal. We would like to deepen our regional cooperation with our neighbors. So we are also focused on judiciary. There is a huge debate in my country about judiciary reforms, which are not substantial reforms. I'm not talking about the substance. We are talking about independent budget and increasement of salaries of judges and prosecutors. For example, the president of court in my country has a salary 25% bigger than the salary of prime minister. And they are still asking for more. Unfortunately, we received some critics, which were a part of the last EU report about judiciary and prosecutory, and we took on consideration one report developed by European Council, where is very clearly written that my country's central budget foreseen percentage of our GDP for financing courts and prosecutors amount which is bigger than 75% of EU member states. For example, we are giving to them 0.39% of our gross domestic product, and the European average is 0.31, and median is 0.22. For example, Netherlands is 0.2%, France is 0.2%, Germany is 0.3%, and we are 0.39%. For example, Albania is something above 0.2%. So sometimes I think that we need to have a longer dialogue with the representatives of EU in our domestic countries, which are with the foot on the ground, because at the end of the day, they are submitting reports to your offices. And sometimes I'm afraid that might create a different perception, public perception. And unfortunately, in politics, not always substance matters. Sometimes perception is more important than substance. Unfortunately, all the time, yes, you are right. I was talking about substance, but not all of our citizens are able to listen to substance, and therefore we are trying to do something publicly now. But however, we will continue to deliver. As you said, Madam Commissioner, deliverables are important. Deliverables matters. Everything else is a fairy tale. Everything else is a story. I'm not a political animal, I'm an engineer, and I would like to talk about something which is tangible. And sorry for being boring maybe sometimes, but I would like to talk always more about deliverables which are tangible and not create only a perception among the citizens, but also citizens are able to see, to touch, and to use. However, once again, thank you, Eddie, for hosting us, and I wish you very best to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian. And just before passing the floor to our dear friend from Belgrade, I just want to abuse of the chance you gave me to touch upon this thing that is really a very, very disturbing thing also in Albania, which is related to another fact, that when we did the justice reform, we made a decision to raise the salaries of the judges and of the prosecutors far above the pyramid of wages. And as a matter of fact, today, the judges and the prosecutors that are in key positions have close to the double of the President of the Republic. And but this meant that they would get an increase before everyone else to get full support for the whole thing that they have to do. It didn't mean that every time there is an increase of wages, their wages will increase, right? So what they did was that when we had an increase of wages, they went to the Constitutional Court and they asked to increase their wage. And the Constitutional Court increased the wage, which was completely shocking, because it's not for the court to increase or to decrease wages or to do policies of wages, but it's the Constitutional Court. Now, on 11th of December, they want another increase. And if this flies, it's 1,700 euro of increase for them, which is the double of the average salary in the country. And it's a big dilemma. So what do you do? This is the Constitutional Court, and if they decide, and this is creating a more and more, because yes, the people support the special prosecution, support the prosecution on corruption and so on, but the people does not support the whole justice system. They are very angry, and to create this sense that there is an elite that is above everyone else, and they can put wages to themselves. And when it comes to delivery, they are far behind all of us. This will create a big problem also between the people and the judiciary in terms of credibility. So we are very, very worried, and I've shared it with Silvio here. I don't know, because and the only hope here is that the judiciary today is independent from us, but is not independent from Americans and Europeans. So maybe they can interfere behind the closed doors, of course, like they usually do. The floor is to the Prime Minister of Serbia.
Thank you, Eddie, very much. So thank you all for the nice reception here in Tirana. And I would like just to stress on two issues. One is the direct, as Christian told, that we would like to connect. Interconnection is really important. So with the energies, but also with the, let's say, free doors for the intercommunication between the countries is really important. So this issue of our bilateral opening the borders is a really good sign. So we can actually, I would like to go from Belgrade and then to come to Greece without any borders, if it is possible. So connection is really important, and I believe that all the issues that were touched are important for the citizens. This is, I mean, this is the most important thing that we have to bring here. And this is my third time to be on such meetings, and this is one of the most, how can I say, constructive and open, and really discussions are really nice. So the connections are on my first place, I can say, and this is what the Serbian people are expecting to have. And the other issue is a little bit related to perception. So as you also mentioned, the perception is also important. So we are waiting for about 3-4 years to open some cluster, which is really funny not to be open. So I believe that opening of this cluster at this, let's say, approaching to the deadlines of something should be a very good sign to the citizens of my country to show that Europe is also thinking on us, because we are thinking on Europe because we are in Europe. I mean, it's so obvious. And the same, I mean, message could be also placed to the other two countries that do not start the process. So what I'm really pledged on is to open such political issues and to be like deliverables to the citizens as the nice gift to the people that they really deserved. So this is my let's say, conclusion about this, and I'm really very happy to be on the next meeting with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister, and I'm just taking a few more minutes for my portion of free speech. First of all, I want to mention what was said here about the finance behind the growth plan, and I have shared this with Gertjan and with Sylvia also, that it would be very helpful if the schedule kind of change, because if we have potentially 6 billion and we are today at 448, which is the end of the 25, there are 2 remaining years, and it would be a pity to lose this money, while for us this money are really very important. And I want to connect this with also our military side when it comes to Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Albania, that have to stretch a lot in terms of the budget because of the NATO obligation to go upper and upper, and this is something not easy. But above that, there is this thing that we have to show that we are good American Taliban. So we have to buy weapons from the Americans. So we have to participate also in this. So again, it's an overburden. So please try to consider these 2 things. One, to a bit change the schedule of payments, of course, without changing anything in the deliverables, because this is how it goes. It's a financially sound marriage. It cannot be a marriage that can go bankrupt. So this is number 1, and maybe there is a chance, Gertjan, to push for us to be part of this SAFE program of financing of the European Union, because there is somewhere something, I'm not going to say unfair, because I took out from my vocabulary since long time the word unfair when I talk with the European Union. but it's somehow, not right that we have to behave same when it comes to Ukraine, when it comes to the
Një, dy, një, dy. Okej. Një, dy.
Miranda.
Dear participants, please join us for the EU World Bank WBIF grant approval ceremony.
Okay, so thank you very much. I'm impressed by this participation. I thank you, leaders, excellencies, dear Xiao Xingyo. It's a pleasure, and I'm actually very happy to be able to announce the most recent approval of a EU. So this is European Union money. It's fresh money. It's a grant of 54 million euros, which go to the Safe and Sustainable Transport Program that is managed by the World Bank. And indeed, dear Prime Minister, I can confirm that we are cooperating very closely, and I would dare say close to being in full harmony with the World Bank on this project, but also more widely. This brings the total amount of EU grants for the Safe and Sustainable Transport Program to 134 million euros since 2023. So this is in itself an indication of the importance that the European Commission is giving to the program. What is it about? It's about very tangible things, if we think of it, because the program is about improving road and railway safety. It's about upgrading technical capacity. It's about digitalizing, and concretely, relative to the green lanes that were mentioned also before by you, dear leaders, this money will contribute to facilitating through upgrading of the border crossing points, facilitating trade between your respective countries. And we know trade brings wealth, and wealth is good for all your and our citizens. So again, let me thank the World Bank. We have been, I remember, we first met 2 years ago with you, and we decided that we would be closely working together on these and other projects, and this one, I think, is the first tangible initiative, but there are others to follow, but let's start by celebrating this important one. Thank you very, very so much.
Thank you very much, Valentina. The World Bank is very grateful for the continued trust and collaboration with the European Union. This new grant is a signal of our continued commitment, our shared commitment to the Western Balkans. The safe and more reliable transport system, we believe, will help us to deepen trade and to foster growth. Safe and Sustainable Transport Program is a unique investment package that helps to bring the Western Balkan countries closer to the European Union's 450 million people. The program, as Valentina mentioned, finances investments such as upgrading railway crossing, digitizing the border crossing points, as well as digitizing the management of the transport system and road safety. The first phase of the SSTP, what we call Safe and Sustainable Transport Program, the first phase was 80 million, and by now, 98% of that has been commissioned. So it's actually very much under progress. And it is also leverages 290 million euro of the World Bank investment in the Western Balkans in the transport program. So this is the European Union's grant, really leverage and help us to bring more bigger scale transport investment in the Western Balkans. We really value our collaboration with the Western Balkan government and with our European Union and DG NST, and also Transport Community Secretariat. I think it's been wonderful partnership with our European partners, and we very much look forward to continue this collaboration as we bring more investment to the Western Balkans. The Trade and Transport Facilitation Program 2 is one of such examples, but it goes beyond that. We look forward to supporting the region in its continued effort to better connectivity and deeper integration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We now kindly invite the leaders to prepare for the family photo. Thank you.
Edhe këtë, pak mande. Edhe pak aty. Dzirë pak për para shqiptarë. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. C'est bon, test. 1, 2. Test, prova. 1, 2, 3, 4, prova, test. Test, 1, 2, 3, 4. Test, prova, 1, 2, 3, 4, prova. E ok? Duas marcas. Aí isso o quê?
Ja.
Solta aquele perfume.
Dear participants, please join us for the press conference between Prime Minister of Albania, Edi Rama, and Commissioner for Enlargement, Marta Kos.
Përshëndetje, ishte një tjetër ditë europiane në plot kuptimin e fjalës për Shqipërinë dhe Tiranën, ku u mblodhëm për summitin e planit të rritjes së Bashkimit Evropian për Ballkanin Perëndimor, një tryezë që është ndërtuar për të bërë një bilanc të periudhës midis summiteve, për të vlerësuar rezultatet e nismave të përbashkëta, për të nënvizuar angazhimet e reja, për të ndjekur në mënyrë të detajuar kalendarin e detyrave që ka çdo njëri nga shtetet e Ballkanit Perëndimor në raport me planin e ri të rritjes dhe për të diskutuar në fund në mënyrë të lirshme lidhur me gjithçka që secili ndjen nevojshme të ndaj me tryezën. Sot mund të them që kemi mbyllur një takim edhe një herë tjetër të frytshëm me hapa konkret të mëtejshëm që e afrojnë më tej rajonin me Bashkimin Evropian, duke konfirmuar përsëri se plani i rirritjes është një urë e shpejt dhe e sigurt drejt tregut përbashkët evropian. Shkurtimisht po sjell këtu në vëmendje të publikut disa nga angazhimet, roamingu që me marrëveshjen e re do të përfshihet edhe për qytetarët tanë në regjimin e Bashkimit Evropian, një hap shumë i rëndësishëm dhe domethënës pas atij me pagesat, të cilat tani më bëhen pa asnjë ngarkesë ekstra, duke kursyer dhjetra miliona euro nga xhepat e qytetarëve të secilit prej vendeve të Bashkimit të Ballkanit Perëndimor. Ndërlidhja me korridoret europiane vazhdon të mbetet prioritet dhe vazhdon të financohet nga instrumentat e Bashkimit Evropian. Tregtia dhe lehtësimi i saj përmes një plani të detajuar lidhur me pikat kufitare, transformimi digjital dhe identiteti digjital, të cilin ne kemi gratis që kemi prezantuar dhe do ta fusim në jetën reale në fillim të vitit të ardhshëm, duke praktikisht i paraprirë atij që do të jetë pastaj gjithë sistemi i identifikimit digjital të Bashkimit Evropian, që do të thotë do të ketë më nevojë për karta identiteti, për pasaporta e kështu me radhë, sepse identifikimi do të bëhet thjesht përmes celularit. Dhe po ashtu, identiteti digital do të vlejë dhe për shumë aktivitete të tjera që kanë të bëjnë me transakcione financiare, që kanë të bëjnë me blerjet e drejt për drejta përmes telefonit, dhe patjetër folëm edhe për afrimin në zinxhirin e vlerës Bashkimit Evropian në aspektin industrial dhe për turizmin si një komponente që duhet fuqizuar në sensin e bashkëpunimit mes vendeve, në ndërkohë që mendoj se kemi hapur një shtek tjetër për të bashkëpunuar me Komisionin në funksion të fuqizimit të arsimit lartë përmes ndërkombëtarizimit, gjë që ne kemi filluar në Shqipëri, por me ndihmën edhe mbështetjen e Komisionit besoj që mund ta çojmë në një nivel tjetër dhe jo vetëm Shqipëri, por në të gjithë rajonin. Në mbyllje dua të falenderoj sinqerisht të gjithë ata që morën pjesë për praninë, për kontributin e tyre, dua të falenderoj në mënyrë të posaçme Komisionin Evropian për faqësinë, misionin, ambasadën, nuk e kam kuptuar akoma si quhet delegacionin e Komisionit Evropian në Tiranë për punën e bërë në bashkëpunim me ne, të gjithë institucionet e tjera të pranishme dhe në fund, por jo për garancia, komisioneren e cila është përsëri këtu në Shqipëri dhe me cilën takohemi shumë shpejt pas momentit historik të pak ditëve më parë të çeljes të gjithë kapitujve të negociatave për antarësim në Bashkimin Evropian. Shumë faleminderit edhe një herë dhe e dashur Marta, fjala është për ju.
Përshëndetje dhe të shoh gazetare të shoh miq. We are at the half-time point of the growth plan, and thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, enabling us discussing this very important tool which helps Western Balkan countries on the way into the European Union. I always love come back to Tirana, sometimes for the bilateral meetings, sometimes now as a group of the Western Balkans. It's good to see your support, not just on the European way of your country into the EU, but I can feel also your commitment towards the EU integration of all the other Western Balkan countries. Today, we have had a frank discussion on how to speed up the implementation and to make up the growth plan a success that delivers for all the people of the Western Balkans. And we talked about the need to enlarge the notion of the enlargement. So for me, enlargement is really much more than just the enlargement, and to integrate you all soon as possible into more and more EU policy areas, and not only into the single market, but also into our energy market, into pan-European value chains. And just like last week, the college adopted the Democracy Shield and a civil society strategy, and in both candidate countries and EU member states are treated as equals. And I'm proud of that, and we will go even further, including you in the endeavor to protect democracy and our values. We want to make the European Union a lived reality in your countries already today to bring prosperity, stability and security to all of us. In some area, this is already taking shape. Albanians, Montenegrins, Macedonians already benefit from cheaper transaction costs because of SEPA. But our ambition is for all of the countries to advance in sync, and we do not want new gaps to develop between the Western Balkan six. And because ultimately all the Western Balkan countries belong into the European Union, all Western Balkan countries should become full members of the Union with, and I stress, full rights as the confirmation for full alignment with EU laws and even more important with EU values. And let us focus today on how we can accelerate in the second half of the growth plan. And there is one particularly important deadline coming up in June. The one-year grace period for unmet reforms from the second reporting round will expire. So I called all the leaders to push on even more implementation of the reforms. We also discussed the next steps in reducing roaming rates. Paying extra for cross-border phone calls or communication is something we no longer do inside the European Union, so why should you?
And for this to happen, we need to work on faster alignment with the EU rules. On the green lanes, implementation is ongoing. Last year, we agreed on 11 common crossing points between the EU and Western Balkans and 5 common crossing points within the Western Balkans. And as you have seen this morning, the Commission and the World Bank exchanged a letter of intent committing to swiftly move on with the second phase of the Safe and Sustainable Transport Program. And let's unblock projects to improve transport infrastructure, digital innovation, consumer protection and tourism. And this will benefit not just your citizens, but also your businesses. And now that sometimes the reforms we agreed to together are not always easy, but they allow to accelerate EU accession talks and prepare your economies for the single market. And as you like to tell, it is about the transformation process, and this can bring big results. And this transformation process is unlocking opportunities, is giving access to member state treatment in some EU policies, and it also shows our member states that you are ready for more and deeper integration into the European Union. We also talked about how our instruments can attract more foreign investments. We expect that the closer the countries of the Western Balkans we get to the EU, and as you know, we describe your country, Albania, and Montenegro as front runners. The more, this is what we know from the past, the more curious the citizens will get from the member state, but also the more investors will be ready to come. The President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, told me she was here at for your investment conference, how impressed she was, and we should go on with this. I heard today from you that you are planning a new investment conference here in Tirana. Congratulations. Why is this important? This is crucial to make your economic convergence with the EU countries a reality, and you are on a good way. And to the end, we have another 2 years to make the growth plan really a resounding success and prepare the ground for your EU accession. And we should use every day to work on the European future of the Western Balkans.
Thank you, Prime Minister and Commissioner. Now we invite the journalists to ask their questions.
Ambrozia Meta nga Syri Televizion. Pyetja e parë është për komisioneren për sqarim. Raporti OSBE-u diri dhe raporti i Komisionit Evropian evidentuan se zgjedhjet e 11 majit ishin një ngjarje pa barabartë ku ke shpërdorën burimet shtetërore, pati intimidim ndaj votuesve, ndikim nga rrjeti i patronazhistëve dhe përfshirje madje edhe nga bandat kriminale. Në gjykimin tuaj si lexoni këtë raport? Ishin zgjedhjet e 11 majit një standard i plotësuar për integrimin, a ishin ato në standardet e Bashkimit Evropian? Dhe për kryeministrin Edi Rama. Kur ish kryeministri juaj Arben Ahmetaj u shpall në kërkim nga SPAK, ju deklaruat se nuk mbani përgjegjësi për bashkëpunëtorët tuaj të cilët han dardha pas shpinës tuaj. Sot një tjetër bashkëpunëtor juaj Erion Veliej është në Burg dhe një ditë më parë GKK ka vendosur në mas sigurie zvendës kryeministrën tuaj për shkelje të barazisë në tendera. Pyetja ime është, a do shkarkoni Belinda Ballukun dhe a kemi të bëjmë me një rastësi dhe të gjithë bashkëpunëtorët tuaj han dardha pas shpina, apo është një model qeverisës për të cilin ju duhet të mbani përgjegjësi? Faleminderit.
Yes, the elections have been free and fair. It's always good to get some suggestions for improvement, and this is good for Albania and also for the European Union.
Faleminderit për pyetjen. Dua të them fillimisht se nëse sot Shqipëria i ka hapur të gjithë kapitujt e negociatave për antarësim, ndër disa arsye themelore është edhe fakti se Shqipëria po e lufton
seriozisht korrupsionin dhe krimin e organizuar. Dhe pa diskutim që sot edhe fakti që mund të bëhen pyetje me këtë përmbajtje lidhet me një epokë të re ku kemi hyrë. Dhe në këtë epokë të re, Shqipërinë e ka futur kjo shumicë qeverisëse me mua në krye. Për sa i përket rastit konkret, duhet të them 3 gjëra. Spari, pavarësia e gjyqësorit nuk është as një slogan, nuk është as një manovër politike dhe as një eksperiment i përkohshëm. Por është një shkëputje historike nga e kaluara. Dhe e realizuar vetëm në vitet e fundit, kjo pavarësi ka sjellë një risi absolute në jetën institucionale të Shqipërisë dhe zhvillime të padiskutueshme pozitive. Duke filluar nga një fakt i pamohueshëm, varrosja e kulturës 100 e kusur vjeçare të pandëshkueshmërisë. Por ama ka shfaqur edhe dobësitë e natyrshme të një pushteti krejt të ri, fëminor për nga mosha, si dhe reflekset vjetra antidemokratike. Së dyti, dua të theksoj se pavarësisht dhe përtej kostove të larta që kanë për vendin dhe jo thjesht për ne, këto reflekse të vjetra antidemokratike, të trupave të reja speciale, për ne dhe për mua personalisht, mbrojtja e pavarësisë dhe ruajtja e pavarësisë së sistemit të drejtësisë janë para kushte. Janë para kushte për çdo qëndrim nga ana jonë, sepse, siç thotë edhe një fjalë e mençur që mua më pëlqen shumë, kur nuk duhet hedhur fëmia bashkë me ujin e pistën. Dhe këtu vite e treta, pezullimi nga detyra e një ministri, në këtë rast edhe zëvendës kryeministri, pra drejt për drejt përgjegjës për drejtimin e qeverisë në mungesë kryeministrit, është një tjetër shfaqje e pikërisht astyre doftësive që përmenda më lart, të një pushteti krejt të ri dhe e reflekseve antidemokratike që përmenda po ashtu më lart. Ky është një rast unikal në historinë e Europës dhe po ashtu edhe në historinë e trupave speciale të drejtësisë që janë krijuar në proceset e integrimit evropian të vendeve të ish-lindjes komuniste, ku s'ka ndodhur kurrë që një prokuror dhe një gjykatës të mblidhen kokë në kokë dhe të pezullojnë nga detyra një antar i qeveria. Por, dhe ky është një por shumë i madh, nëse një prokuror special dhe një gjykatës special, i shkallës parë të speciales, këtu në Shqipëri, kanë vendosur të pezullojnë një ministër, cënimi drejt për drejt i pavarësisë dhe i funksionimit të një pushteti tjetër të pavarur, siç është ekzekutivi, duke marrë kompetencat e kryeministrit, të presidentit dhe të parlamentit, prej nga buron mandati i qeverisë dhe i çdo ministri, zgjedhja jonë në raport me këtë fakt është strategjikja si gjithmonë. Për ta ruajtur dhe për ta mbështetur pavarësinë e gjyqësorit si parakusht, edhe në këtë rast ekstrem. E thënë drejt për drejt, ne nuk mund t'i përgjigjemi një arbitrariteti të këtyre përmasave me asnjë lloj arbitrariteti. Dhe as do të angazhohemi larg qoftë në një betejë politike, retorike me drejtësinë. Por do vazhdojmë me durimin ton strategjik. Do ta ruajmë dhe mbështesim pavarësinë e gjyqësorit, do ta respektojmë pa kushte vendimin e pezullimit të ministres dhe në ndërkohë do të kërkojmë mbrojtjen e pavarësisë së funksionimit të cënuar të qeverisë vetëm tek drejtësia në gjykatën kushtetuese. Këta jemi ne, ky jam unë, dhe kështu do të jetë deri në fund, kur unë të kem privilegjin që të udhëheq Shqipërinë për ta bërë antare të Bashkimit Evropian. Mbrojtja e pavarësisë së re dhe jo të përkohshme të sistemit drejtësisë është prioriteti ynë absolut edhe përballë situatave kaq flagrante sa kjo situatë, për cilën po drejtësia duhet të gjejë përgjigjen kushtetuese.
Raziela Myslima nga Report Televizion. Zoti kryeministër, siç e cekët edhe vetë që qeveria nuk mund të qëndrojë pa një zëvendës kryeministër, është një post kushtetues. A keni diskutuar dhe keni menduar për emrin që do të zvendësoj Belinda Balluku në postin e zëvendës kryeministrit dhe a do të jetë me një karakter po kaq të fortë politik sa Belinda Balluku apo do të jetë një figurë më teknike ndoshta?
Nuk u kuptuam. Pezullimi është vendim i një gjykate që ne do ta përcjellim në gjykatën kushtetuese si një akt brutal ndërhyrje në pavarësinë e pushtetit ekzekutiv. Dhe gjykata kushtetuese do duhet të na thotë se cili është qëndrimi i saj bazuar mbi Kushtetuën e Republikës së Shqipërisë. Pra nuk jemi në kushtet kur duke ndërhyrë me forcë në pavarësinë e ekzekutivit mund të diktohet ndonjë lëvizje e qeverisë. Kështu që për periudhën që flasim, qeveria e Shqipërisë nuk ka zëvendës kryeministër dhe nuk ka një ministër të infrastrukturës dhe energjisë që funksionon. Kaq.
Përshëndetje, Erkys Gjençe, News 24. Zonja Kos, ju dëgjuat deklaratat e kryeministrit për sa i